Okay, we start the new Mamer in Parshas Shelach in Likutei Torah. This is the 16th Mamer in Parshas Shelach. Still discussing the pasuk that was brought down before. This is in the end of the Parshas Tzitzis. We say, Ani Hashem Alikeichem, Asher Hitzeisi Eschem Eretz Mitzrayim, Liyos Lachem Lelekim Ani Hashem. So in this pasuk we say first, Ani Hashem Alikeichem, I am God your God, and then this says Ani Hashem Alikeichem, I'm God your God. Why is it saying two times Ani Hashem Alikeichem? Lahavin hakefel, to understand the duplication. Lo maksi beis pamim. Why is it written twice? Ani Hashem Alikeichem. Why does it say two times Ani Hashem Alikeichem? Bereish HaPosik u'b'seifai, in the beginning of the Posik, Ani Hashem Elokeichem, that starts off, and the end ends up with Ani Hashem Elokeichem. And also, Ma'inyan Posik Zeh L'Kriyas Shema. What does this Posik have to do, Yitzias Mitzrayim, to the reading of the Shema? Sharamidas Posuk Zeh, why are we saying this Posuk Ani Hashem Elokeichem? Actually, for that matter, the whole Parshas Tzitzis that had this Posuk, why are we saying this Posuk? That is because we want to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim, because Shemitzvah Sasei, it is a positive mitzvah, Lahaskir Yitzias Mitzrayim. You have to remember, the Torah says you have to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim, K'meshe Kosuf, like the Posuk says, Leman Tizker Es Yom Tzeischa Me'eretz Mitzrayim, that you have to remember the day that you went up to Mitzrayim. Kol Yimei Chayecha. So there's a mitzvah to remember Mitzrayim. But mitzvah b'fnei atzmei, that's an independent mitzvah. We have to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim. So why do we, when we're saying the Shema, why are we doing the mitzvah of Yitzias Mitzrayim at some time? What's the connection? And further, why don't we use that exact pasuk from where we learn out that there is a mitzvah, which the pasuk says, why are we using the pasuk of Ani Hashem Elokeichem Asher Hitzeisi Eschem Eretz Mitzrayim in the parsha of Tzitzis? Why don't we read it in the parsha of? Why don't we do the pasuk where it says that's the pasuk where the mitzvah comes from, the Gam Lahavin, also the Ezer Shach Yesh LePosuk Zeh LeParsha Tzitzis, because this pasuk comes right into the parsha of Tzitzis. So what's the connection to the parsha of Tzitzis? So the Rebbe begins to say that the Yidden B'chlal bring down the Rotzen of Hashem. The Yidden are the highest things of creation. All other things were created with Dibur and Machshava, Dibur and Maisa, through Hashem's speech and Hashem's Ruach. But the Yidden come all of Machshava. Machshava is a higher level. And therefore, the Yidden have a special task. And from the higher level, they come down into the world, and then the Yidden have a task to bring down godliness into the world, and that's the way they get their elevation. He's going to explain. They were before Yimei Bereshis, which means that the Yidden come before the world. The world, so to speak, comes from Hashem's Dibur, from Hashem's Ruach. But the Machshava comes before, the thought that's a higher level than the Ruach and the Dibur. Sharei, Ba'asore Mamoris Nivra Ho'ilo. The world was created with 10 sayings. Ubidvar Havayeh, the Pasuk Ubidvar Havayeh, Shemayim Nasu. So we talk about Mamoris, sayings, those are speech. We talk about the Pasuk B'dvar Hashem, the word of Hashem, Shemayim Nasu, so that the world was created, the Shemayim was created through saying, which is B'chinas Dibur v'ruach piv yisbarach. So it's a level of Hashem's speech and His blessed ruach of His mouth, the air and the speech of the mouth. That's the level of creation. But the Yidden come before that. That's the world. That's Sheishis Meibreishis. But the Yisrael all b'machshava. Yisrael all b'machshava. Shehu b'china shalamaylam b'chinas dibur. That's a level which is higher than dibur. Elo sheyordu lamata ba'olam hazeh. But the people were also created through dibur, because Abishah said Nasa Odom, one of the Asora Mamores. Says, yeah, the Yidden are from a higher level. They descended below in this world to dress up in a Guf and Mamer Nasa Odom. Through the speech and the saying Nasa Odom, let's make man. It's also a dibur Mamer. So that's the way it came down into the world. The neshama is before, comes from Machshava, but it came down into Elam Hazeh through Dibur Maim Nasod. And why? So it turns out that the neshama, which is Machshava, comes down into through the level of Dibur into the world, and this descent is for the purpose of an aliyah. So we need to understand what is the elevation that is going to be after the descent from the days that we live in this world. So we're saying that this soul will be elevated more than what it was included in the supreme machshava. So we said through the descent it'll go up. So what is going to be accomplished through the descent of the neshama into the Olam Hazeh? In Eiksiv, the pasuk says that when Yaakov was battling with the Malach, so what did the Malach tell him? Lo Yaakov ya Omer et Shimcho ki im Yisrael. That the Eibishter says, the Malach said to him, your name shall no longer be Yaakov, but the name is Yisrael. Why? Because you have battled with Elokim Batucha. So basically we see that the Yidden have the name Yisrael. So this is with the Malach, and later on when the Eibishter appeared to him, Hashem told him, I'm Elokim, not only the Malach told him that, but later on, the Eibishter tells him them too. So he has the name Yisrael. What is the Inyan Yisrael? Yisrael is who oisios li rosh. You become to me a head. Basically, li, who's to me? To the Eibishter. We become a head for the Eibishter. What does it mean? Shem nasim. So to speak, we become a head for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does it mean we become a head for HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So let's understand what is this idea of a head above relative to Hashem. Hashem has no image of a body, God forbid. So what do we mean a head? What kind of a head are we talking about? Okay, so the Rebbe is going to explain now that the idea over here is the head means rotzen. Li roish means you make a rotzen for Hashem. The Yidden bring about the rotzen and make a desire that Hashem should come down from the Olam Ein Sof into the world, into Atzilus, into Bri Yitzirasiyah. That means li roish. To me, Roish, to make me that Rosh. Look on the side. Hine, Noida b'sifrei hatanach b'sifrei Kabbalah. It's known in the books of Tanakh and the Kabbalah, Karotzen nikro Roish v'gulgoylus. That the Rotzen is called the head and the Gulgoylus. Basically, he wants to say, when we say Li Roish means we make li rotzen. You make me a rotzen instead of, because the word roish is a substitute for the word rotzen, because the head is called the roish and the gulgolos and the skull. Basically, why is that called the head and the skull? The head means physically you have like the head, the skull that covers over the brains. So the moich is inside. So basically, the idea is when you want something that's open, that's like the head that surrounds it. Why you want it, that's hidden, that's inside. That's called the pnimius, the logic, the seichel, why you want something. Or the pleasure that you enjoy it, you don't see that. What you see is the head, you see the outside. That's what we call the rish and the gulgolos. That's what we call it, the head and the gulgolos. Again, he's trying to bring out that we are the ones that make the Eibishter's rish, make the Eibishter's rost. Mikro moli nemar, there's a full pasuk, it says, V'hoyo al mitzchoy tomid l'rotzen. Talks about over there the tzitz that was on the Kohen Gadol's forehead. It'll be on his forehead always for rotzen. So we see that the forehead, the head, is associated with the level of rotzen. That is level of rotzen. So, what is the connection between the head and the rotzen? So look at this. Pirush al derech moshul mipsori echse. I can see this from my flesh. Meaning, let's look the way the rotzen and the seichel work by the person, and we'll understand it a little bit about. So you have what you want, and then there is the pleasure or seichel. But vehein, the tainug and seichel, apnimius rotzen. They're the inner of the rotzen. The rotzen is the external. That's what you see. Why does he want that? Is because he understands that he should want that, or he enjoys that. Shahara rotzin. Why are they the pnimius rotzen? Shaharei harotzin misoider machmas hataynu. How does a person get aroused with a will? Why does he want something? It's because of the pleasure. Because he has pleasure from that item. That's why he wants and desires that. Is why? Because he enjoys it. That's one way. Or the rotzen comes because of the intellect. That's also the intellect. Is also a reason for the rotzen. He wants so because that's the way the intellect says that this is what you should want. So, if you measure the rotzen, a will is something that you tell the other person, I want you to do this for me, I want this, you tell them something. But why you want it, that's hidden. That's in a rotzen ubichinam is gala. That's a level that is revealed. He responds to the one who asked him, this is what I want. He tells somebody else, do what I want. So that's revealed. But the pleasure or the reasoning, that's not revealed. They're hidden and they're blocked within the wish that blocks and covers over them. So you don't know why you want it. That's covered, but that's in there. That's why it's called the skull. Because that is similar to the bone of the skull, which hovers around the brain, which is inside the skull. And that's what we called it, because the skull, that's the chitzonius, and the others of the moichis should be in the inside. Okay. So likewise, the parable, we can understand it above. The Mechinas Harotzen, Nikro Galgalto the Chafia Amoicha. That's called the Galgoilus that hovers over the Moich. Shegilui Harotzen Choifa ala seichel haneleg ala tainuk shel harotzen. The revelation, when you want something, that covers what on the hidden why you want it, or the tainuk of that rotzen. Sheim le'ein keitz tachlis mamash. The tainug is endless, so there's always a level of more rotzen. It hides it. In other words, the person has an endless amount. There's an endless amount of tainug. It says the holy ones every day they praise you eternally. There's always that's an endless amount of elevation. They're just a ray from the level of Chochmah. Just like the ahir that comes from the Me'ach, which nurtures from very little of the Me'ach. So what comes into the world is a drop of Chochmah Ilah, like a here that comes to Me'ach Ketib Legabayam, like a drop next to the whole ocean. And therefore, you have constantly the idea of the Kedoshim constantly going up and up and up. Abel Chochmah Ilah, so this is only the Ha'ara, he says. But the Chochmah Ilah itself, Ubechinas Eden. When we say Gan, Eden, the Gan of Eden, Eden itself, of there we say Ayin Le'Rasachulu. Nobody can see that. That's at a higher level. That's hidden.